Austrian wet yodeling one more time this year. For fun, I'm not going to give you the pictures though. You have to use your memory and try to help me keep the order. Here we go. Once an Austrian went yodeling on a mountain so high, when along came an avalanche interrupting his cry. Yodelay, 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 ooh, swish, swish, yodelay, yodelay, ooh, swish, swish, yodelay, yodelay, ooh, swish, swish, yodelay, ooh. Once an Austrian went yodeling on a mountain so high, when along came a grizzly bear interrupting his cry. Yodelay, 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 ooh, swish, swish, grr. Yodelay, yodelay, ooh, swish, swish, grr. Yodelay, yodelay, ooh, swish, swish, grr. Yodelay, ooh. Once an Austrian went yodeling on a mountain so high, when along came a Jersey cow interrupting his cry. Yodelay, 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 ooh, swish, swish, grr, squirt, squirt. Yodelay, yodelay, ooh, swish, swish, grr, squirt, squirt. Yodelay, yodelay, ooh, swish, swish, grr, squirt, squirt. Yodelay, ooh. Once an Austrian went yodeling on a mountain so high, when along came a pretty maid interrupting his cry. Yodelay, 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 ooh, swish, swish, grr, squirt, squirt. Yodelay, yodelay, ooh, swish, swish, grr, squirt, squirt. Yodelay, yodelay, ooh, swish, swish, grr, squirt, squirt. Yodelay, ooh. Once an Austrian went yodeling on a mountain so high, when along came a handsome lad interrupting his cry. Yodelay, 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 ooh, swish, swish, grr, squirt, squirt. Hey, yodelay, yodelay, ooh, swish, swish, grr, squirt, squirt. Hey, yodelay, yodelay, ooh, swish, swish, grr, squirt, squirt. Hey, yodelay, ooh. Once an Austrian went yodeling on a mountain so high, when along came a snowman interrupting his cry. Yodelay, 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 ooh, swish, swish, grr, squirt, squirt. Hey, yodelay, yodelay, ooh, swish, swish, grr, squirt, squirt. Hey, yodelay, yodelay, ooh, swish, swish, grr, squirt, squirt. Hey, yodelay, ooh. Once an Austrian went yodeling on a mountain so high, when along came an alien interrupting his cry. Yodelay, 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 ooh, swish, swish, grr, squirt, squirt. Hey, take me to your leader. Yodelay, yodelay, ooh, swish, swish, grr, squirt, squirt. Hey, take me to your leader. Yodelay, yodelay, ooh, swish, swish, grr, squirt, squirt. Hey, oh, take me to your leader. Yodelay, oh, ooh. I almost almost forgot our last Take Me to Your Leader. What was I thinking? Whew, glad we caught that. All right, thanks for moving. Go catch your breath. That one always gets me out of breath, all that singing and moving around. But thanks for doing it with me. I have so much fun with that one. I hope you've enjoyed it this year too. Do you remember our Se Sería dance? It's the one where we go stomp, clap, both. Yeah, let's review it kind of slowly and then we'll try it again with the music to review it with all of that. So again, it goes stomp, clap, both, elbow and stomp. Stomp, clap, both, elbow and stomp. And then you do the elbow stomp, low, up, high, elbow stomp, arms around and tap. Tap. Is it coming back to you? Do you remember? All right, if you need to go back and do that little review again, rewind it back and do that. Otherwise, let's try it with the music. Really fierce. Did you see I almost missed my one elbow? Yikes. Hopefully you caught it and you were able to keep up and do what you were supposed to do. Great job reviewing Se Sería with me. In the book, Follow the Drinking Gourd, we're going to be singing this song and a few different verses of it as well as the story progresses. But before we do that, I want you to take a good look and see how many syncopas do you see in this rhythm. So look really carefully, look for the syncopas and start counting, see how many you see. If you need more time, pause it. Otherwise, let's start taking a look together. So my first syncopa that I see is right here, right? Syncopa. Now this is tied to this note, so we're going to hold it out extra long, but we do see our syncopa rhythm there. Where else do you see syncopa? That's right here. So we've got two so far. So if you said more than two, you are correct so far. Let's see, we've got another one right here on Follow the Syncopa. All right, we've got three. Do you see any more? Yes, when we get down here, right, we have one more here. So that's four. And, yep, we've got a fifth one right here, another Follow the. So we have a fifth one there. So we have 5 of them in our song. Now, when we sing the song, we start here. And I know you see this double bar line here, but because we see the word fine, what it tells us to do is to keep going. we get down here to the end where it says DC al fine. Well, DC stands for da capo. In Italian, that's the head. So that means the beginning. So when you get here, you go to the beginning until the end. So back to the beginning, you sing this again, and here is our ending then, that second time through. Okay, so just so that you get a chance to get to know the song, I would love it if you would follow along with me as I sing on the music this time through. That way, during the book, hopefully you'll be able to catch on and sing along with me throughout our story as well. 1, 2, here we go. Follow the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd, for the old man is a-waiting for to carry you to freedom if you follow the drinking gourd. When the sun comes back and the first quail calls, follow the drinking gourd, for the old man is a-waiting for to carry you to freedom if you follow the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd, for the old man is a-waiting for to carry you to freedom if you follow the drinking gourd. Thank you for following along. Hopefully you were able to catch on and start singing along as we go. It's a really cool sounding song, isn't it? Well, it is a song that originated from the Underground Railroad. So I can't wait to share this exciting story with you, this really powerful story of how slaves were able to escape using the stars and music and friends who were willing to help them and do the right thing. So here is Follow the Drinking Gourd. I hope you'll join in singing along with me. Follow the Drinking Gourd, story and pictures by Jeanette Winter. Before we get started with our book, I did want you to hear a little bit about the true part of all of this. In the early days of slavery in the United States, many slaves tried to escape their cruel bondage by fleeing north, usually to Canada, to freedom. By the 1840s, a loosely organized group of free blacks, slaves, and white sympathizers formed a secret network of people and places that hid escaped slaves on their dangerous journey to freedom, a network that came to be known as the Underground Railroad. Traveling along darkened roads at night, hiding out by day, moving slowly upriver along hundreds of miles of connecting waterways, the fugitive slaves endured many hardships. Slave catchers hunted them down with dogs, and even after crossing into the free states, runaway slaves could still be captured and returned to their masters for a reward. The most famous conductor on the Underground Railroad was Harriet Tubman, a runaway slave herself, who led hundreds of her people to freedom. Among other conductors, there was a one-legged sailor named Peg-Leg Joe. Joe hired himself out to plantation owners as a handyman. Then he made friends with the slaves and taught them what seemed like a harmless folk song, Follow the Drinking Gourd. But hidden in the lyrics of the song were directions for following the Underground Railroad. The drinking gourd is the Big Dipper, which points to the North Star. When the sun comes back and the first quail calls, meant spring, when travel might be least hazardous. As the runaway slaves followed the stars north, they would come across marks Peg-Leg Joe had made in mud or in charcoal on dead trees. A left foot and a peg foot, and they would know they were on the right trail. The river that ends between two hills was the Tombigbee River. The second was the Tennessee River, and the Great River was the Ohio River, where Peg-Leg Joe would be waiting to ferry them across to the free states on the other side. From there, the fugitives were guided from one hiding place to the next, until, with luck, they made it to Canada or other safe places in the north. Long ago, before the Civil War, there was an old sailor called Peg-Leg Joe, who did what he could to help free the slaves. Joe had a plan. He'd use hammer and nail and saw, and work for the master, the man who owned slaves on the cotton plantation. Joe had a plan. At night, when work was done, he'd teach the slaves a song that secretly told the way to freedom. Just follow the drinking gourd, it said. Follow the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd. For the old man is a-waiting for to carry you to freedom if you follow the drinking gourd. When the song was learned and sung all day, Peg-Leg Joe would slip away to work for another master and teach the song again. One day, a slave called Molly saw her man James sold to another master. James would be taken away, their family torn apart, just one more night together. A quail called in the trees that night. Molly and James remembered Joe's song. They sang it low. When the sun comes back and the first quail calls, follow the drinking gourd. For the old man is a-waiting for to carry you to freedom if you follow the drinking gourd. They looked to the sky and saw the stars. Taking their little son Isaiah, old Hattie, and her grandson George, Molly and James set out for freedom that very night, following the stars of the drinking gourd. They ran all night through the fields till they crossed the stream to the woods. When daylight came, they hid in the trees, watching, listening for the master's hounds set loose to find them. But the dogs lost the runaway scent at the stream, and Molly and James and Isaiah, old Hattie, and young George were not found. They hid all day in the woods. And at night they walked again, singing Joe's song and looking for the signs that marked the trail. The river bank makes a very good road. The dead trees will show you the way. Left foot, peg foot, traveling on if you follow the drinking gourd. Walking by night, sleeping by day, for weeks they traveled on, sometimes berries to pick and corn to snatch, sometimes fish to catch, sometimes empty bellies to sleep on, sometimes no stars to guide the way. They never knew what lay ahead. There was danger from men who would send them back, and danger from hungry beasts. But sometimes a kind deed was done. One day, as they hid in a thicket, a boy from a farm found them. In a bag of feed for the hogs in the wood, he brought bacon and cornbread to share. Singing low, they traveled on. The river ends between two hills. Follow the drinking gourd. There's another river on the other side. Follow the drinking gourd. On and on they followed the trail to the river's end. From the top of the hill they saw the new path, another river beneath the stars, to lead them to freedom land. The drinking gourd led them on. The song was almost done. When the great big river meets the little river, follow the drinking gourd. For the old man is a-waiting for to carry you to freedom if you follow the drinking gourd. Then they climbed the last hill. Down below was Peg-Leg Joe, waiting at the wide Ohio River to carry them across. Their spirits rose when they saw the old man. Molly and James and Isaiah, old Hattie and George ran to the shore. Under a starry sky, Joe rowed them across the wide Ohio River. He told them of hiding places where they would be safe. A path of houses stretched like a train on a secret track leading north to Canada. He called it the Underground Railroad. It carried riders to freedom. The first safe house stood on the hill. The lamp was lit, which meant it was safe to come. Ragged and weary they waited, while Joe signaled low with a hoot like an owl. Then the door opened wide to welcome the freedom travelers. They were rushed through the house to the barn, for the farmers knew there were slave catchers near. A trap door in the floor took them under the barn to hide till it was safe to move on. Then Peg-Leg Joe went back to the river to meet others who followed the drinking gourd. With danger still near, too close for ease, the farmer sent the 5 travelers on. He drew a map that showed the way north on the midnight road to the next safe house just over 2 hills. This time, James called the signal a hoot like an owl that opened the door to a Quaker farm. The travelers were led to a secret room hidden behind shelves. They rested here for many days and healed their wounds. Soft beds, full meals, new clothes, hot baths washed away some fear and pain. Isaiah smiled. When they were strong, they traveled again, from house to house on the underground trail, still following the drinking gourd north. Sometimes they traveled on foot, sometimes by cart. The wagon they rode near their journey's end carried fruit to market and the runaways to freedom. At last, they came to the shores of Lake Erie. Molly and James and Isaiah, old Hattie and young George climbed aboard the steamship that would carry them across to Canada, to freedom. 5 more souls are safe, old Hattie cried. The sun shone bright when they stepped on land. They had followed the drinking gourd. Let's sing our song together one more time from the start. Here we go, follow the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd. For the old man is a-waiting for to carry you to freedom if you follow the drinking gourd. When the sun comes back and the first quail calls, follow the drinking gourd. For the old man is a-waiting for to carry you to freedom if you follow the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd. For the old man is a-waiting for to carry you to freedom if you follow the drinking gourd. The kanun is a Middle Eastern instrument that has 25 to 27 strings. It's typically plucked with 2 pieces of horn attached to a metal ring worn on the index finger. Enjoy the beautiful music of the kanun. sarod and tabla are our next instruments, and they are from India. The sarod is similar to a fretless guitar or a sitar. It has 17 to 25 strings. The tabla are a pair of drums. One is the treble, the smaller one, which is higher pitched, and one is the bass, which is the larger one, and that is lower pitched. The playing technique is extensive and very complex and uses the fingers and palms to create a variety of sounds and rhythms. So enjoy the sarod and the tabla. The shamisen is a Japanese instrument that resembles a banjo, and it originally derived from China, where the strings were once made of silk but are now nylon. I really like how he also uses the special pick to create a percussive sound on the shamisen as well. Do you think it sounds like a banjo? The bansuri is a flute used in northern Indian music. It's typically made of bamboo and has 6 or 7 finger holes. So there are no keys to push down, just holes to cover, almost like a recorder. And this flute is said to have mythical qualities. This is the bouzouki. It originated in Greece, but has now been famous for being used in Ireland and Irish music. It has a pear-shaped body, but it looks a lot like a guitar, doesn't it? It also does sound a lot like one of our steel-stringed guitars. The duduk is a double reed flute that's been around since the 5th century. It's made of apricot wood and it's from Armenia. You can actually hear this flute in many movie scores as it's a very popular instrument to use in that kind of music. The kalimba, or mbira, is called a thumb piano. It originated in various parts of Africa and has been used in various countries in Africa. It's made of a wooden board and metal tines that when you pluck them with your thumbs, create all different pitches. It's a very relaxing sound. The angklung originated in Indonesia and parts of Southeast Asia. Its bamboo tubes are pitched to specific notes when struck, and you can see the shaking motion is what creates the action to play the note. The guzheng is a Chinese instrument and commonly has 21 to 26 strings. It's played with finger picks. The oldest guzhengs are found from 475 to 221 BC. Modern guzhengs are very ornate and beautifully carved. Bagpipes are from Scotland. The bag inflates with air and you depress it with your elbow, and that makes it flow through the pipes, called caters and drones. The bagpipe has been played since the Middle Ages. The balalaika is a Russian instrument. It's similar to a guitar or a ukulele, but it has a triangular wooden body with 3 strings. Only 3 strings. A ukulele has 4, so this has 3 strings. It's used for folk music and dancing. Look at how fast he can play. The erhu is a 2-stringed fiddle from China, but she does a much better job explaining it than I do, so let's just watch and listen to her.
Hi, my name is Xiao Shunqi. I'm a musician with Shenyang Performing Arts.
This is the erhu. It's an instrument with a very ancient history in China and is an indispensable part of Chinese music. So let's look at the erhu's structure. Its main body is made of wood, either rosewood or red sandalwood. And erhu means two, referring to the erhu's two strings, an inner string and an outer string. Then there's the bow. The bow is made of horsetail hair and bamboo. The bow hair is mounted between the two strings and can't be taken out. Finally, there's the drum resonator. Its front is covered with python skin, while its back is ornamented. There are also stylistic differences between erhus made in different regions. The erhu has rich expressive powers and can produce a wide range of sounds. For example, birds chirping. Or the sound of a horse neighing. It can be sorrowful, or portray young maidens beautiful like flowing water.
Hey boys and girls, today we have an awesome song we're going to put with our Shake the Papaya song. It's going to go cinco patadita, cinco patadita. So can you help me say this as we do it with the song? Here we go. 1, 2, go.
Mama says no play, this is a work day. Up with the bright sun, get all the work done. If you will help me climb up the tall tree, shake the papaya down.
Patadita, cinco patadita, cinco patadita. Cinco patadita, cinco patadita, cinco patadita.
Mama says no play, this is a work day. Up with the bright sun, get all the work done. If you will help me climb up the tall tree, shake the papaya down.
Now, let's go get your favorite instrument to play, and then come on back. We can play it on the instrument. All right, I'm back. I have my drum here, and I am ready to play. Are you ready? You got your drum or your güiro. If you were going to play that pattern on your güiro, you might have a can as well. But you're going to use these ribs here and go cinco patadita, cinco patadita. Maybe you're just going to tap it with your hands. We're going to have cinco patadita or cinco patadita. I've got to use one hand so I can move the mouse, but I need you to use both hands, maybe. If you are up to doing it with one hand, that's fine. If you want to try it with two hands, that's fine. Then if you want to go back and try it again with the other hand, that's fine too. So I want you to see how you can do it best. Here we go. After we sing through it the second time, we're going to stop with our playing and let the coda finish off. Here we go.
Mama says no play, this is a work day. Up with the bright sun, get all the work done. If you will help me climb up the tall tree, shake the papaya down.
Great job, boys and girls. All right. See if you can find a different way of playing that instrument this time. Same rules apply. We're going to be playing from the beginning. When they start singing, we start playing. We're going to keep playing until we get done singing that second time. Here we go. Let's try it one more time before we go. This time you are playing a different way on your instrument than you played last time. Same rules apply though. You're going to wait till we come in with our singing. Then you're going to play all the way through until we finish the second time through our singing. And then you're going to hang out until Dakota finishes the song. Here we go.
Mama says no play, this is a work day. Up with the bright sun, get all the work done. If you will help me climb up the tall tree, shake the papaya down.
All right, this time I'm not going to help you. See if you can do it on your own. Follow the papaya. Here we go.
Mama says no play, this is a work day. Up with the bright sun, get all the work done. If you will help me climb up the tall tree, shake the papaya down.
Very good job. Keep up the great work, and we will see you next time. Bye, boys and girls.